Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Singh Group at Merrill Lynch, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 25 years.
Time for the holiday flicks. What's in the movie theaters that you ought to see, and bringing in newcomers. What's going to be the draw in the coming year in the cities? Tens of millions of dollars are spent in the cities by outsiders drawn to the places, people, and events we have to offer. How can we grow that? The new head of Visit Quad Cities will share his ideas. But first, our annual trip to the movie theater for the holidays. But wait! No Star Wars sequel. Anything controversial like The Interview, you know, that comedy from 4 Christmases ago that irked North Korea. So what's a moviegoer to do this Christmas season? And joining us is the man who can answer that, River City's reader, editor, and movie reviewer, Mike Schultz. How you doing?
Can I answer that? I'm doing great.
Well,
4 years ago that was?
It was 3 Christmases, but I'm counting this Christmas. That's 4 Christmases ago that we made North Korea angry.
That's insane.
Or at least Sony Pictures did, right?
Well, somebody did. Wasn't me. I didn't have anything to do with it, I promise.
No, it was not you.
Okay.
Where are the mega blockbusters this holiday season?
I think it's just that. I think you're right. It's just that we don't have a Star Wars. I think that's the only reason it feels like that. It's the first time since, what, 2014? We haven't had one. We had our Han Solo movie in May, and that was it. But we do have, we have Mary Poppins Returns. We have Aquaman. We've got stuff that's going to make a lot of money, for sure.
We got a lot of big names, and I want to point out one that really gets a lot of advertising. Welcome to Marwen, which is the Steve Carell, kind of the fantasy movie. You know what? It used to be that if you see a movie that's advertised everywhere, it's not a good movie because they're trying to get you in. It's not word of mouth.
Right.
Is that still the case?
I'm not sure. That one, I have mixed feelings about that in advance without having seen it yet. It looks visually amazing. It's based on a documentary, so it's a true story about a guy who got involved in a really serious accident, lost all of his memories, and started designing kind of his memories through little figures and made like a town and made a world to kind of remind him what used to happen. The visuals look extraordinary. It's by Robert Zemeckis, of course, who did Forrest Gump and did Contact and knows his way around visual effects. It looks a little bit too Forrest Gumpy for me. Just like they're really modeling it on that kind of presentational style. So I'm hit or miss, but I love Steve Carell. I think he's tremendous.
And let's be honest, I mean, when movies can just transport us and take us someplace that we're not used to going and just visually stimulate us in such a way that we never even thought possible, there is something magical that's what movies are all about.
Absolutely. That's why we look forward to the Star Wars movie every single Christmas. And this year they're just kind of depriving us. Feels a little rude. But I think we have a new one next Christmas, if I'm correct.
Some of us missed the Star Wars. Mind you,
did you not see it?
I've only seen the very first Star Wars. That's the only movie I ever saw.
Seriously?
I know, I'm
Jim.
one of those. I know, I live under a rock.
Right, okay.
The Mule. That's the one I'm most interested in. The Clint Eastwood, Bradley Cooper movie.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood, is he going to live forever?
He just might. Wow. He might. And if these movies keep making money, and this one did a really nice opening weekend, can I be honest? I hated it.
Really?
I hated it. I really did. The thing I wrote, it made a lot of people. It made a lot of people at my screening very happy. And Clint is endearing, of course. He's 88 years old, and he's been doing it forever. And he's a legend. He's great. But I wrote, it's like that elderly uncle of yours at Thanksgiving who tells his casually racist jokes, and you're just smiling with gritted teeth, going, "I should have had a burger. I should have just stayed home this year." You kind of have to just deal with Clint being Archie Bunker level Clint that he is now, and it's just so. I found it kind of gross.
Is that a little bit like Gran Torino then?
It's quite a bit like Gran Torino by the same author as Gran Torino. Right. But the thing is, what's interesting, or should have been interesting about the movie, is it's about an elderly man who becomes a drug runner in his 80s. It's based also on a true story, a fascinating story. The movie is really more interested in just Clint being Clint than it is about this actual tale that's fascinating. And so it felt like its priorities were in the wrong place. I wasn't crazy about it.
I'm going completely the other side and going back to some of these remakes. You pointed out Mary Poppins being big.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tried and true, isn't it? I mean, how do you screw that up?
I hope not. I'll be seeing it pretty soon, so I certainly hope not. A Star is Born, let's look at that, talk about remakes.
Right.
On its 4th remake, I guess, and this is probably the best one yet, and it's incredibly good. It's going to be all over the place for the Oscars, and so yeah, they tend to work. I mean, Hollywood is really good at giving us the same thing over and over and over, but every once in a while they can see it with kind of a fresh perspective. The new Star Wars movies, I think, are pretty great, you know? And they're not much different than the old Star Wars movies, but they're done with a lot of love and a lot of skill. I see why they make the money.
I was looking at the top 5 grossing movies. I know grossing movies does not necessarily mean they're good
movies.
No,
but I'm curious because I don't even know what they would be.
Well, what I had at number 5 is Deadpool 2.
Okay.
Number 4 was Jurassic World as of the beginning of the month. Okay. Incredibles 2 was in third place. Sure. Avengers Infinity War was in second.
Yeah.
And the number 1 movie of 2018 as of December 1st was Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Each one of those is in some way an action movie.
For sure, absolutely. And you could probably go down that list and 4 of the next 5
Actually, you're absolutely
would
right.
probably be just like that. It is, but that's, I mean, it's something, it's a date movie and it's a family movie. I mean, you can go and you know that you're going to have a good time. And that's what people, if you're spending that much money at the Cineplex, you know, you want to make sure you're getting your money's worth. So I get it. And if you got 4 kids with you, you know, bring them to Black Panther. They're going to have a blast. It moves fast. It's funny. Yeah, it makes sense to me.
But we're still in that genre of Marvel, DC Comics. DC Comics, of course, coming out with it, like you said, Aquaman,
sure.
Spider-Man. These are movies that are out now or coming out, and we're still in that comic book genre, which seems to be as popular as ever.
And it has not yet. It hasn't gone away. And we're talking close to 20 years now. I mean, the first X-Men movie came out. Spider-Man was the first Spider-Man way back before they rebooted it 4 or 5 times. Was 2002, I think. So it's been going on, you're right, for a long time. Like the Western went on for a long time. Like Technicolor musicals in the 50s and 60s went on a long time. What's going to make it finally go away, I think, is when people's kids are finally like, oh, that's the kind of stuff my mom and dad like.
Ah, that'll do it.
That's where it'll finally end, when they come up with something new. But in the meantime, we're all kind of stuck with it, I think.
I'm just looking around if there's any really rom-coms out there, and I don't really see that much.
There's a new Jennifer Lopez movie that opens weekend before Christmas, like Second Act, I think it's called. But I don't even think it's a rom-com. I think it's just a com. So, but the last one you'd have to go back to would be...
Rom-com being romantic comedy.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound too inside because, let's be honest, I'm not.
You know your lingo.
A little bit.
But the last one would have been probably Crazy Rich Asians from the summer, I would guess would be the last big one.
Which also did very well.
Yeah, really well.
You liked that one particularly? I mean, you liked the way the story was told?
Super good.
And characters you're not, actors that you're not used to seeing.
Well, exactly. Well, like you're saying too, a world we don't get to see a lot.
Right.
You know, it takes place overseas in this ridiculously luxurious, land of wealth, and you could just drool at this movie for 2 hours. It's like, whoa, it's it's gorgeous and funny and charming.
Are American movie audiences getting a little more sophisticated? Because at one point you might have seen them not going to see something that's more foreign involved.
For sure. And Star is Born is a great example too, which is made a R-rated romantic drama, $200 million plus. Bohemian Rhapsody. Got the Freddie Mercury story, which is also on its way to $200 million. It's still in theaters. It's been out for 2 months. Deserves to be. It's great fun. So I'm not sure if we're getting smarter as a society as far as our movies, but I think maybe our tastes are narrowing to the point where, all right, if you're going to give me Freddie Mercury, which I want to see anyway, make it good, and then I'll see it again. Because that thing was destined to make some money off the bat. But if it wasn't good, it would not be up to $200 million and not still be in theaters at Christmas time.
And it would have been a punchline
for had it failed, oh, you bet. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Bohemian Rhapsody, because I read your review, which was just so well written, just to let you know. But I got to tell you the truth. The way you wrote it is like, you didn't like it, but in a way you loved it because of the ending being
and the music in general.
Absolutely.
It's not a great film as far as, it follows a really standard Hollywood biopic, kind of A to B to C. It's pretty obvious. The dialogue is nothing to write home about. There's a lot of kind of shaky supporting acting. I couldn't care less. The music is so great. And you've got Rami Malek, who's playing Freddie Mercury from Mr. Robot, who's just top notch.
Spot on.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Doesn't do his own singing, but what human could? It's like, it's Freddie Mercury. Don't
Those
even try unless you can.
Hit.
Exactly right. Unless you can do it perfectly, don't try. But he lip syncs it beautifully, and the concert scenes are just thrilling. I got to see it on opening weekend. I was just mentioning this to someone, and literally the audience is bump, bump, down, bump, bump, down. I mean, it's a concert. It's a blast.
Well, and this is music from the 70s, and we're still just hooked to it like nobody's business.
Yeah, it's great fun.
Okay.
It's great fun.
I got to ask you.
Okay.
Holmes and Watson. Let's be honest.
Okay.
You've got John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell coming together. We're going straight to a comedy now.
Yes, we are.
And actually, John C. Reilly I saw was in another movie. I don't have
Stan
it
and Ollie. He's
That's
gonna be
it.
playing
Yes.
Oliver
Which I thought
Hardy.
had come out earlier. No.
Nope, that's coming out in January 1st. I think it opened like New York and LA.
I saw a trailer on it 1,000 months ago.
Okay.
That has to be it.
That'd
Anyhow,
do it,
so
yeah.
let's talk about Holmes and Watson first of all, as far as comedies are concerned.
Yeah.
Another story about Sherlock Holmes, but
The last thing we need, but I will take more Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly in my life. Absolutely, I will. You know, that preview. I've probably seen that preview 3 or 4 times, and I gird myself to say, don't laugh this time.
Yeah.
But it's really funny. It looks like a blast. I can't wait, and I love those two together. Step Brothers. Come on. It's great.
it's highbrow for a lot.
It really is.
Stan and Ollie, as you said, John C. Reilly and Steve
Yeah.
Coogan. Stan and Ollie is also an interesting story because there have been other versions of it to show almost the dark side of this comedic duo.
And I'm not sure, I haven't seen a preview myself. Does it look like they're going more dark-sidey with this?
Well, a little.
Okay.
But not a lot, you know,
right.
but you got to tell the whole story.
For sure.
And there was depression, there was anger, and there was comedy as well.
And and that's a story, while you're right, it's been told before. It hasn't for a while, and so there might be maybe a couple generations who don't necessarily know that they were the Reilly and Ferrell of their day in many ways.
In many ways.
Yeah.
2018. What was your favorite movie and what was the one that people should have seen?
You know what? This is weird. Almost every single year I have like a definite #1 pick.
Right.
Like last year was Get Out. That was a pretty clear-cut choice. This year I am torn between maybe 4 to 6 different titles that are amazing. So I'll throw a few at you. Black Klansman, the Spike Lee movie from the summer. Unbelievably good. There is a new Coen Brothers movie that's on Netflix, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Right.
Western vignettes, tremendous, one of the best things they've done in forever. Also on Netflix, you have this Mexican memoir called Roma by Alfonso Cuarón, who did Gravity a few years back and Children of Men. Amazing director. A Star is Born is way up there. Melissa McCarthy had a movie this fall called Can You Ever Forgive Me?
Right.
That's up there on the list. Gosh, there's more. There's like 8th Grade was an amazing kind of teen movie, and The Death of Stalin, which was a hilarious kind of political farce set in Russia. It's been an awfully good year in many ways.
But what was the worst?
I'm still up in the. I want to say The Mule just because I'm so mad at it, but it's not that. It's something else for sure. But
we'll put an asterisk next to that.
Yeah.
Anything you're looking forward to in the months ahead?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to On the Basis of Sex, the Ruth Bader Ginsburg biopic.
I saw that.
Looks pretty interesting.
Yep.
Ben is Back is this movie with Julia Roberts, whose son is a drug addict, comes back home for the holidays. Things don't go well, but the movie looks really interesting, I think.
Another biopic, Mary Queen of Scots, is coming out as well.
Mary Queen of Scots, yeah. Saoirse Ronan, Margot Robbie, both of whom I love.
Could be phenomenal.
Could be great, yeah. And the costumes will be awesome, so
absolutely.
There's a few things to look forward to still, yeah.
We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much.
All right, my
Mike
pleasure.
Schultz, the editor at the River City Reader, movie reviewer extraordinaire. And guess what? You can read his reviews online and also the reviews dating back to the year 2000 at the River City's website. You don't have to blow the dust off or anything. You click, you read, you have a little bit of enjoyment. In a moment, making the cities a magnet. But first, here's Laura Adams, Out and About.
This is Out and About for December 17th through 23rd. The holiday spirit is all around, so check out the Herbert Hoover Presidential Library and Museum as they host their annual Christmas tree exhibit with 17 decorated trees. Or join Elf on the Shelf at Vanderveer Park on the 22nd for Elf Magic. Explore the magical conservatory on an elf-guided tour and enjoy themed treats and refreshments. French moderns, Monet to Matisse, are on display at the Figge Art Museum featuring 60 works drawn from the collection of the Brooklyn Museum. The exhibit chronicles one of the most dynamic and beloved eras in the history of art. Or take a look at strong and influential female protagonists that spring from the pages of some of literature's most iconic books at the Putnam Museum's exhibit, Literary Heroines, Their Times, Their Fashions. The Quad City Botanical Center's gardens are in winter bloom as thousands of lights twinkle during their annual Winter Nights, Winter Lights. Bundle up, stroll the gardens at night, and then warm up at the hot chocolate bar. Bethel Wesley United Methodist Church in Moline is the site for a Callahan Christmas recital on the 23rd, while the Oak Ridge Boys celebrate Christmas with timeless hits at the Adler Theater December 20th. 2 musicals are on the stage at Circa 21. The children's winter musical is the classic Pinocchio, and Broadway and everyone's favorite orphan is Annie. For more information, visit wqpt.org.
Thank you, Laura. The holidays are a great time to revisit some old friends of WQPT's. The Westbrook Singers decided to retire last year, but the songs from the first family of Quad City gospel music should never be forgotten, especially their arrangements of holiday classics. Here's the Westbrook Singers with Do You Hear What I Hear?
Said the night wind to the little lamb, do you see what I see? Way up in the sky, little lamb, do you see what I see? A star, dancing in the night with a tail as big as a kite, with a tail as big as a kite. Said the little lamb to the shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? Do you hear what I hear? Ringing through the sky, shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? Do you hear what I hear? A song, high above the trees, with a voice as big as the sea, with a voice as big as the sea. See what I see, what I see. Said the shepherd boy to the mighty king, know what I know. In your palace warm, mighty king, know what I know. A child shivers in the cold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and
Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? Do you see? Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? Do you hear? Do you hear what I hear? Do you hear what I hear? Do you hear? Do you hear what I hear? Do you hear what I hear? Do you know? Do you know what I know? Do you know what I know? Do you know? Do you know what I know? Do you know what I know? See what I see. See what I see. People everywhere. Listen to what I say. For peace. Do you know what I know? Do you know what I know?
a child shivers in the cold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold.
Do you hear what I hear?
The same
Westbrook Singers with Do You Hear What I Hear? One of the biggest industries in the Quad Cities depends on not only your money, but millions of dollars from people who don't call this area home. Visit Quad Cities, and the Quad Cities Sports Commission says $882 million was spent last year on travel-related expenses in Scott and Rock Island counties. It helped pay the salaries of 8,100 workers. But how can it grow in the months ahead? Dave Harrell is the new president and CEO of Visit Quad Cities, the group tasked with making this area a destination. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
You moved in, everything's fine?
Getting there, certainly getting, settled and acclimated, but yeah, we're having a great time so far.
You applied for a job in the Quad Cities. You were saying that you're a St. Louis native, so you kind of know the Midwest area. What was it that appealed to you about the Quad Cities? What did you think that was going to make it more vibrant?
Well, I think certainly a couple things, but fundamentally, I think the vision of where the community and the region wants to head. I think the Q2030 plan was a compelling one for me to really consider this opportunity. The Mississippi River and the fact that it's such an iconic, international treasure, and the ability to be here. And certainly, I think the momentum that you've seen from a development perspective bodes well for our industry. So that's what compelled me to look at the opportunity, but then also the challenge of being here and trying to evoke some change, and I'm excited about it.
Well, let's be honest, this is an incredibly competitive field. I mean, not only from like-minded communities, like if you look at Cedar Rapids, or if you go to Des Moines, or you go to Rockford or Peoria in the region, but also the national draws of Chicago and St. Louis. It's tough to make people actually look at the Quad Cities when you're competing against so many other markets.
It is. So if you look at the national landscape, there are over 5,000 destination management organizations, or CVBs, in our country. So that's a lot. There are over 70 just in Iowa and Illinois alone. But for me, I really want to stretch our footprint as much as we can. I think we've really been in this regional profile for a long time, but I think we can move that beyond that 300-mile radius. The Quad Cities has got a wonderful story to tell. We need to focus on the brand, we got to focus on the place, and then we've got to focus on the message in terms of how we want to deploy our authenticity, and I think we can get there.
A lot of it has been related to sports in so many different ways. I mean, when you think of the Big Seven and the run that brings tens of thousands of people, you talk about, I know it's just baseball, or it's just basketball, or it's just hockey, but that brings in a certain amount of people. The Criterium brings people as well for biking. Is that an area that is so critically important when it comes to drawing tourism to the Quad City area, the sports and the sports marketing of this area?
It is. I mean, there's a lot of blocking and tackling that you can do from, just to use a sports metaphor.
Right, sure.
But from a recruitment and hosting perspective, it's one thing that you got to have a strategy, you got to have a plan, and you got to know the relationships within the national sort of construct if you want to be successful in this space. I think we set up very well for sporting events, in particular on the amateur level, based on the position of where the Quad Cities is from a national standpoint. So it is a huge focus area for us. Obviously, we've got some new assets that I think are going to be really, really good for us in terms of our tool belts. And
so you're looking at maybe at the TBK Bank Sports Complex?
Yeah, definitely a transformative, venue and asset for the community. But
other communities have caught on. I mean, we're seeing these things popping up now. I mean, Burlington opened a version of it. Des Moines has been very busy at it.
It's an arms race, and I think you've got to stay ahead of the conversation. You got to know what's happening with your competitive set. And one of the things that we're going to do from a Visit Quad Cities perspective, we're going to get out of our comfort zone. So I think for so long we've been looking at Des Moines and Peoria and Rockford as our competitive set. You're going to hear me and our organization talk a lot about, Des Moines is a wonderful community, but I really don't want to look at Des Moines anymore. I'm going to look at Denver. I don't want to look at Rockford. I want to look at Raleigh. I don't want to look at Peoria. I want to look at Portland. These are the aspirational markets that I think would really benefit us, and just get out there and do something a little bit different that we've never done before.
You take a look at the riverfront in Davenport in particular with LeClaire Park, and that there were concerts there, and that used to be the end-all and be-all. And now you, like the downtown Davenport partnership, decided to move that off and create alternating currents with a bunch of different venues downtown, with the whole idea that they were kind of in some ways copying South by Southwest in Austin. So is that kind of fit into what you're thinking? Is like, okay, don't think about Des Moines, but think about, as you said, Denver, Austin, some of the cities that may be more hip?
Well, you know, I think the one thing you want to do, you want to activate your river in a meaningful way. I think that's going to give us competitive advantage versus some other markets that we're competing with. You want to try to draw people to the river. I think you want to also have a blended portfolio of events and festivals and just activities. And if it's a great place to live, if Quad citizens really feel this place moving and that there's momentum and they're emotionally connected with it, that's going to really draw in visitors, because there's no better way to attract visitors than word of mouth. So Quad citizens are critical in terms of being brand champions if we want to move this brand.
Well, and they keep telling me, as far as the industrial developers are concerned, is that if you make the communities cool, interesting, it incentivizes a future workforce. And I assume that's the exact same when it comes to visitors who could someday also be residents.
Well, you know, tourism is really the front porch for economic development and growth. And I think what's unique about what we do, I think we're going to be much more focused on the broader sense of economic development in terms of how we can align with our friends at the Chamber, the other economic development engines in the community, to really look at the destination from a broader perspective. And hopefully, boy, if we can get people to travel here and they have a great experience, because it is about the product and it is about the experience, maybe they will relocate a business. Maybe they will think about, you know, taking a job here like myself. So we've got a great story to tell. Our responsibility is to work with our stakeholders to package that, and then how do we deploy that effectively? And I think we can get there.
Dave Harrell, the new head of Visit Quad Cities, thanks for joining us. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Jim. Appreciate the opportunity.
What's your first big thing you want to do?
I want to shift the culture in this community. I really feel like we need Quad citizens to be on the page that tourism is important for our region, that we can grow this brand, and there's no better people to help tell that story than the people that live here. So it's shifting culture.
We look forward to you accomplishing that in the new year, all right?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave. And please help us celebrate our 35th anniversary of providing public television in the cities. We're putting on a special party next month to mark our anniversary. Tickets are now on sale for WQPT's Champagne on the Rocks event. It's coming up Friday, January 25th at the Davenport Outing Club. This year, the President and Chief Executive Officer of Public Broadcasting, Paula Kerger, will join us to talk about PBS programming for the future. It's a night for you also to bid on big prizes and perhaps win some jewelry. Get details about Champagne on the Rocks at our website, WQPT.org. On the air, on the radio, on the web, and on your mobile device. Thanks for taking some time to join us as we talk about the issues on the cities.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill Lynch, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 25 years.